Hey everybody, Ken Clark here with the Get Your Fix team, real estate team. So this is a warning video. Please watch this all the way through, especially if you are thinking of selling a house this year. Share it with your friends. I'm gonna try and get through this in like 4.5 minutes or something. There's a lot to cover, but it's so important. This is about wholesale buyers, or the companies that tell you, hey, you can sell your house for 1% commission and you don't have to deal with open houses and you can choose your close date. There might be some issues here. What I want to cover is what they promise you and then what fees are actually tacked on that may make that promise just evaporate. So let's talk about this. First, what they promise. Well, you don't have to have an open house. You don't have to have an open house now. Tell your agent you don't want to have an open house. Most people now are not going to open houses. They're just looking for houses online, and if they like one, they take their agent to it, so they don't have to hassle with all that. Second, close dates. As the seller, you have most leverage in deciding what the close date is. Let me say up front, if you need to close on your house and get out a week from now, I'm really sorry for what's going on in your life, but if you need to do that and you need to go with a wholesaler to do that, okay, things happen in life, we get that, but 99% of people probably don't need that. And it could cost them thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So let's go through the numbers now. For this example, we're going to assume that the buyer, one of these big wholesaler companies, is actually offering you a fair price. Now, the best way to find out is go to a licensed agent and get comps. We do comps all the time. We know the neighborhoods. We know what things are really worth. Okay? But we're going to assume that they're giving you a good price. By the way, if you notice, I haven't mentioned the names of these companies, and it's because I've been told that some agents are getting cease and desist letters if they mention the names of these companies. You know what they are. You can talk about them. Talk amongst yourselves. But I'm going to give you a real example here. This is from a settlement statement, something that closed this month. And I'm not going to give you names or anything like that, but this was a roughly $330,000 house, or sold for $330,000, give or take. We're going to round the numbers here. All right, so they paid 1% to a buyer's agent. Right now you're thinking, that's great. They only paid 1%, $3,000, a little bit less than that. So that's got to be good, right? Well, hold on. Couple issues. First, there was a thing that showed up on the settlement statement called a buyer deduction. I don't know what that is. A buyer deduction of more than $22,000, actually just shy of $23,000. But let's just say $22,000. And then there was a thing called a seller concession of more than $5,000, $5,500. Well, seller concessions happen all the time, right? Well, you have an inspection, maybe there's something wrong with the house, and the seller says, I don't have time to fix it. Look, here's a seller concession. In this case, who was representing the seller in negotiating that concession? That buyer's agent wasn't. Who had the fiduciary responsibility to take care of that seller? That's where an agent's value comes in. That's where our value comes in addition to helping you price the house. We have a fiduciary responsibility to look out for your interests, and if we don't, we can lose our licenses and we can get sued and get fined and all that stuff. But let's add this up. We've got $28,000 some dollars in some kind of concessions and another $3,000 in a buyer's agent commission. Folks, that's $31 some thousand. That is a 9.4% commission. Now, I don't know what happened in this case. I didn't go into the details. I know that they wanted the convenience of not having to have people in the house. But if you left $10,000 on the table, and let's say you had 10 couples or people come through the house in the time it took you to get an offer, that's like $1,000 per visit. I'll keep that. That's an inconvenience I can deal with. So here's what it comes down to. If you are tempted to do this, please call us. We're not going to try and pitch you really hard, but we want to make sure that you know what you're getting into with these guys, because they've got all the strength on their side. They've got, they're writing these contracts, and who's watching out for you? Anyway, give us a call. Put the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to think about it. And have a great day.